let us speak to the freelance technology journalist Mary Ann Russ. And I want to pick up, Mary Ann, one of the points that Mark Lanier made in his press conference about how other jurisdictions will see this. He said Europe will be tuning in. Now, Europe, of course, has gone a lot further than the United States, but I wonder if they'll be watching this verdict and taking their own view on how the law here might need to be tightened as well.
I think those processes are already underway. If you're looking at efforts that are happening in the UK, where we're now going to be trialing having a sort of social media ban. And in Europe, Spain, and it said 4 of its neighbors are shortly due to meet for a summit where they are basically going to look to enforce cross-border social media ban for under 16s on social media. So they're already doing that. I think it's a matter of what we're looking at, whether it's about the safety aspect. In the safety aspect, Australia, parts of Europe, and obviously the UK are considering a straightforward ban. So we're just banning it. We're not putting in a law that's judging psychological impact. We're just straight away going for the ban. Right. So that's quite a tight law, I'd say.
I want to make it clear to our viewers that there are 2 separate things that are being discussed in some of these cases. In this particular case in LA, we're talking about the features, the tools that they've designed within these platforms to keep people engaging. In a separate case in New Mexico yesterday, they were talking about content and how that content and people who are online in these chat rooms are targeting children. So there's slightly 2 different things, but they are aligned in respect of the responsibility these companies owe families and their children.
Yes, they're definitely aligned. The difference is that in regards to the Mexico law, they found that the tech giants have actually violated their consumer rights laws. And so and because of the fact that they feel that the platforms did not adequately protect children from being groomed by sexual predators, and that there needed to be warnings and tools and features that help towards that. So that's a distinctive law. The key thing about this case in the US, I think it's really important to mention, is that this is a civil case whereby, a jury in Los Angeles has basically found that the plaintiff has suffered damages. They feel impacted by what her story and how she's been treated, and they've put this amount of money out that she is being to have with damages. However, it's a struggle to see the precise law that the tech giants have broken that would enable this to be appealed and go higher towards a Supreme Court. There will be a lot of appeals on this issue because it's a civil case.
Yeah, it's not a verdict in the criminal sense. It's based on a balance of probabilities rather than beyond reasonable doubt.
Yeah, and so I've been doing research into what are the leading statistics that we can find in terms of studies. The biggest one that's been done in the world is by the World Health Organization a couple of years ago, and they studied 280,000 teenagers born between 2000 to 2002 and their impact. They found that only 1 in 10 of those young people felt badly impacted and addicted to social media. The next biggest study is the University of Cambridge, also 2 years ago, who studied 18,000 young people in the UK. They found that over half of teens reported that they didn't enjoy being on social media. They felt bullied, they felt pressured, they felt addicted. But none of this has been sort of like psychologically, scientifically, clinically calculated to create a measure.
So just quickly then, do you think this is the big tobacco moment?
See, I'm not sure about that, because I feel that with the tobacco companies, we had cancer research going back years about real scientific harms. I'm not saying there haven't been harms. I definitely believe the UK is actually one of the most advanced in the world in terms of researching the impact on our young people and children. What I'm just saying is that I don't feel that the law is right where it needs to be. And you need to have a law to say that someone broke that law and then, punitively punish them. Otherwise, the tech giants will just pay this girl off. They'll pay damages, they won't admit fault, and they'll appeal and appeal and appeal.
Yeah, but
You
I
need
mean,
to
yeah.
quantify that damage and then legislate against it.
Well, we'll see how this court quantifies the punitive damages and what that amount might be. But obviously,
I'd love to see that.
Well, with other cases coming down the line, there are implications for those cases as well, which may force change because they're going to keep paying out if this is a precedent. Marianne Russon, thank you very much indeed for that. We're going to take a short break. We will continue to focus on this trial. Around the world and across the UK, you are watching BBC News.